Fast. Hi everyone, welcome to the first product update webinar of the year. Just very quickly, some housekeeping rules. Just as always, this webinar is recorded and we'll be sending you a recording after the session. If you have any questions, please just pop them in the chat or the Q&A box and we'll answer them either as we go through or at the end of the session. Next slide, please, Kate. Yeah, so today we have no Scott, unfortunately, but I am joined by our two lovely product managers, Georgia and Kate. Next slide, please, Kate. In today's session, we'll look at what we've released since our last product update webinar and the progress we've made since the progress we've made with the upcoming resource reader and social annotation rule tool, Talis Engage, and also just a quick look at the bookmarking workflow. Over to you, Kate.
Thank you so much, Juan. Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. Can I still say that in February? Of course not. At any rate, I just wanted to give you an update from the work that Lisa did last year. We have now released the 4 new resource types as well as the 6 new metadata fields. Those are available for all for immediate use. So I just wanted to give you guys that update and let you know database, object report, and newspaper are all new types. And with that, I'll hand it over to Georgia and I will catch up with you a bit later. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are going to be talking, first of all, about Talis Engage, one of our new feature releases that upcoming feature releases that we've been talking about for a little while now, and where we're at with the progress and what to expect. Next slide, please, Kate. So, what is Talis Engage? We've spoken about this a few times in our previous webinars, but I just wanted to reiterate our vision for Talis Engage. So this is our resource reader and social annotation tool. So this feature allows users to access resources of different types directly from your reading lists, boosting collaborations between teachers and students and bringing together a learning environment within the reading list. So really bringing our Talis Aspire product into our learning and teaching environment. Next slide, please, Kate. So when we talk about Talis Aspire, we talk about file uploads. So uploading different file types to your reading list items. And when we were discussing this with different customers and getting some feedback, we had a lot of different needs that people wanted to address. Maybe they wanted to upload to non-copyright clearable resources only, or copyright clearable resources that have an ISBN or DOI so they can go through a copyright clearance check. So we've tried to make this as customizable as possible. So within your system administrator role, you have access to the settings area in the admin setting in Aspire. And what you will be able to do here is to configure your settings to kind of choose which type of file upload you would like for your institution. So they could include uploading files to copyright clearable resource types that have an ISBN or a DOI. So that's really only for our TAD-C customers at the moment, and I'll explain a little bit later why that is. You might choose to upload files and resource types to books and journal articles, regardless of if they have a DOI. So for example, you're really excited to upload some OA or OER materials that you found online, or perhaps you have a really old copy of a manuscript that doesn't have an ISBN. You can upload to those, but they will not go through a copyright check. So they'll either be automatically rejected if uploaded or automatically accepted. You might want to upload non-copyright clearable resources only, for example. So you might have a need where you want just lecture notes, images, and things that are created by academics to be uploaded only. Those won't go through copyright clearance, but they will be able to be uploaded, which is very exciting. Or you might want to be able to upload to all types of resources, copyright clearable or non-copyright clearable, depending on your copyright access within Aspire. And also, you might not fancy this as a feature for your university. It might not work for you guys, and you could turn off upload functionality altogether. Next slide, please, Kate. So for our different customers, we have different settings. So if you are a TADC customer, you can upload files to copyright clearable resources such as books and journal articles for copyright processing. Those will have to have an ISBN or a DOI. You can also upload non-copyright clearable resources such as images and documents, and they won't go through copyright clearance because our system does not copyright clear those document types. Now, if you are an integrated DCS customer or any other customer that has no copyright clearance integrated with us, or you use it separately, you'll be able to upload copyright clearable resources such as books and articles without copyright checks. You will be able to upload non-copyright clearable resources such as images and documents. And also integrated DCS customers, we know that with digitizations, you have the ability to copyright clear. We are currently in discussions with the CLA because their current DCS offering does not support what we're trying to do with copyright clearing of uploads. However, CLA have said they are creating a second DCS and they are looking to build that this year. So we're working with them currently to try and make sure that this kind of copyright clearance is included for those integrated DCS customers. As with everybody else, you'll be able to get some reporting in RL. So your all list item report will include some stuff, some data when it comes to your uploads. And for the TADTC customers in DC, you'll get some reporting as well. Now, if you have a look at the screenshots, this is how the flow would work. You would click on your reading list item, your 3 dots, and you would click upload file. And then you'll come over to the modals that you can see at the bottom of the screen, where you can upload your file, and academics at this point can choose whether they want to turn on class commenting or not when it comes to the social annotation area when viewing the file. And they can also turn off the ability to download the document. So this might be a document that an academic doesn't want to be downloaded, and they could turn that functionality off. Or if they want students to have some type of offline study, they can download. The second modal, for those of you that are TADC customers or that use our digitization tool, these are some of the fields that you'd need to fill in for our copyright clearance in DC to be able to copyright check your uploaded file type. Next slide, please, Kate. One thing to note, which I think is really important, when speaking with our librarians, we specifically heard that the view online button is really important, especially for licenses when it comes to e-resources. So what we've done here is, if a reading list item already has a view online button that links directly to the view online button to the e-resource, you won't be able to upload to that particular reading list item. You'll have to create another reading list item and add it to your reading list, so that the amount of clicks for the view online button is not does not change the data for how many people are actually accessing the original document. So for your acquisitions, that does not change. And that was really important to us to make sure that that wasn't affected in any way. Now, in this screen here, you'll be able to see what our social annotation and collaboration tool is. So once you have uploaded your document or file type, and it's been accepted, if it's gone through copyright clearance or it's been automatically approved based on your settings, you'll be able to click the view online button, and our reader will show up with the document type on it. So as you can see here, you'll have class comments available. You'll be able to make comments by highlighting and pin dropping. You'll be able to make private personal notes for personal study. You can search using the search functionality for keywords. You can go through different contents in the content page to find a certain area for a book, for example, or part of a chapter, and also hide and show the annotations so you can get a nice big screen for reading. You'll also be able to, in this screen as an academic, change your preferences. So if you decide you don't want class commenting on this document anymore, you could turn that off. And also, if you want to turn the ability to download the file on or off, you can do that here as well. Right, and also what's really important is, if your document did go through copyright clearance, you will also have a cover sheet attached to this file as well. So when you are opening it, you'll see the cover sheet, and when you are downloading the file, the cover sheet will be attached too. Next slide, please, Kate. So all of this has been very excited to build and to bring to Talis Aspire. And we're happy to say that for our milestone 1 release, everything I've shown you today will be released in Q2. So it's very, very exciting. And there are some caveats to what is coming out and what isn't coming out, and I'll explain those now. So for example, when this is released, Talis Engage will not be enabled immediately. We've done this because we feel that not everybody wants to try something new this big, you know, in April, for example. So you'll have the opportunity to turn this on at the time that suits you. To initially turn on and enable Engage, you'll need to get in contact with our operations team, our support team, via a support ticket, and they'll be able to set that up for you. And then after that point, you'll be able to enable and disable Talis Engage however you wish. That will be available for the system administrators to do inside of the settings area. There'll be a way for you to request that enablement. Also, our Talis Engage customers in Canada, we need to do a little bit of extra back-end work to make sure that you get the amazing seamless experience that everyone else has. So initially for milestone 1 release, it won't be available to you, but straight after that release, the team are working super hard to make sure that that work will be done so that you guys can also access Talis Engage when you so wish. So that's going to be coming straight after milestone 1 release in Q2. Now, in terms of usage data, you will be getting some reporting in your all list items report, and also in your DC for those DC customers, sorry. But usage data will not be displayed immediately. At some point in the near future, we have an analytics theme of work that we're going to be looking at, and that kind of work will be linked with that project. And finally, some file upload limitations. Unfortunately, as much as we were able to try for this release, we are not going to be able to upload videos. I know that's something that we really were hoping to be able to upload, but for right now, that's not something that we're going to be able to support. However, if this is something that you guys are really, really passionate about, you try it and you think, I really want to be able to upload a recording of a lecture or something to that extent, please get in touch with us via the AHA Ideas portal and tell us that this is important to you, because it helps us prioritize what to do next to make this even better. Also, right now, you cannot upload EPUB files, but right after we have release milestone 1, we have some work scheduled for us to add uploading of EPUBs, which is very exciting because we know EPUBs are a super accessible file type, and we're looking forward to bringing that to you guys as part of the Talis Engage work. Now, that's all from me. I just wanted to say a big thank you, if you can go to the next slide, please, Kate, to all of the institutions that we consulted with when building this and initially discussing this. You've been really helpful for us to try and make this as customizable and as easy to use as possible. And as always, once this is live, we welcome all of your feedback. So I just want to say a big thank you to those institutions that helped us. I'm going to be answering some questions in the chat. So if you do have some questions, do pop them in there. But for right now, I'm going to say thank you so much. And I'm going to pass over to Kate to talk about bookmarking.
Thank you so much, Georgia. Wow, that's really fantastic. That's very exciting to see all that new functionality coming in. And you guys are very clear on what's in scope and what's out of scope. I'm excited for you. So I'm happy to talk about bookmarking for a few minutes. We are actually in development now. We have some of our initial screens coming through, and I'll talk a little bit later. I'm going to invite some of you to come back and look at some real data and give us some more feedback. But let's take that onto the overview of what's going to change. So our two charges are, how do we create the best bookmark in the least number of steps? So simplify that process for the academic, and also get the best bookmark, because we've had various issues with how the linking works, not working the way an individual library or institution needs it to work. So we're going to separate that functionality out and actually provide separate bookmark options for you. So we're going to simplify the workflow, provide alternative sources, and of course you still have edit and lookup if it's really needed. Now we did hear the feedback that some of you do instruct your academics to please just bookmark very quickly and send it on, and then you work on it through a review and improve the metadata. So we're going to make that easier for you. And then the second thing is the edit metadata form for all your existing bookmark resources. We will improve that a lot. Some of your pain points around extra scrolling and the fiddly bits with parts of around chapters, books, or journal articles and journals, that sort of thing. And we're going to put the actions to save to a list where you need the buttons, when you need them. You're not going to have to do the crazy scrolling. So let me take you into some of these slides. I have three slides to show you. A few of you have seen similar mock-ups earlier when you met with Anna. So thank you very much for that time. And I'm actually going to invite you back to test with some real code and some real data, just to get that final check to make sure we're going to be meeting your needs. So for the previews, the first one is preview a resource. Your academic or list editor is on a resource on the web, such as Google Scholar or on your discovery system, and they click the bookmark extension. And instead of the edit form popping up like it does today, they will instead see the preview of the bookmark. They'll see whatever metadata is available, as well as some labels that might give you a clue as to whether this is a copy available in the library or whether there's a free copy online, that sort of thing. And if you look over on the right side, this is where we're going to highlight if there's other options. So instead of automatically bookmarking it the way we think it should be bookmarked, we'll provide the option to see some other matches and see if there's improved metadata or an improved resource, depending on your needs for a particular resource. So clicking on the See Matches, you would then be presented with multiple options. Some of you have disambiguation turned on, so that would be included in here. So if there's either multiple editions or if there was a DOI or something, depending on which information comes back from the API, we'll be able to provide those alternatives here, and the librarian or the editor, the list editor, can just select the best one. So then finally is the edit. Now you're going to need this for all your existing resources, I'm guessing, but I want to hear from you afterwards that you'll need to do less editing initially upfront for creation of new bookmarks. But obviously you are going through reviews all the time and will be editing existing resources. So we heard all your feedback. Thank you so much for that feedback. We're going to look to have the action buttons always available so that you don't need to scroll to get them. Also, we had some feedback around the remove and the ability to recreate fields, add additional authors, swap between editors and authors, moving fields around. So we are still working through some of the design details on this, but if you could see an example, we would add the ellipsis on the end of each field and then provide the specific actions that make sense for that type of metadata. Also, if you look in the upper right-hand corner where the green circle is, we're proposing to add a bank of links for adding new fields. So any fields that are not in use would appear here up to 9, the 9 most relevant ones. And then if there's more, there'd be a link for view more fields. So the concept is that if you need to add an author, you click on the author and it adds the field. It disappears from over here, and these will all move up, and another one would fill its space. If you, on some strange reason, you use every single one, obviously there would be nothing left. But the idea is the buttons that you're going to need are available where you need them. So in addition to these two concepts, we're looking to solve some of your online resource issues you had, some issues with lookups, and again, around the parts that seem to be a big thing. We're looking at removing the tabs, so you have it in 2 separate tabs, and you should be able to see everything in different sections on the same page. That is my assumption right now about how that's going to land. So let's see now where we're going to end up and what the next steps are. So first, I want to invite you, either if you were somebody who volunteered and met with Anna earlier on to see her mockups, I'd like to invite you back to see real data. They won't be the final screens, not the final design. However, you will get to see live data in action. And so it'll give you a better feel for what's happening, and just to confirm that the order of the screen's right and that it makes sense for your situations where you may have different workflows at different universities. So I will schedule a few calls for you to drop in February. You can contact customer support to get yourself an invite to one of those meetings. And I will meet with you and kind of prep you. I'll walk you through. I won't leave you hanging and leave you on your own. I will walk you through, show you the examples, and then give you the ability to try it for yourself. I'll gather the feedback, take it back to the team, and then we'll make the final decisions. So our overall delivery is looking at Q2 as well, same as Georgia's. Targeting the end of April as close to it as we can, but we may need to phase it into multiple depending on what the feedback is and how those designs are. Some are a bit complex. So we will try to give you functionality as soon as possible. You will be able to request as soon as you're ready to go live, and all improvements will happen to those new screens only. And then all users across the board, we expect will have the new solution by the end of 2025. The idea of doing it by request for now is to allow people with different turn times to have access to test it out while it makes sense for them. So that's the plan. Bookmarking for Q2 delivery and drop-in calls in the next couple of weeks. And I would love to see you and take any additional questions then. But with that, I will hand it over to Juan.
Thank you, Kate. Next slide, please. Yes, so our next product update webinar will be on the 9th of April. So we get to see you just before our Easter break.